Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Thank you for listening to Live the Dream Media.
Does your ordinary radio feel a little limited? If you're looking for a new way to listen, it's time for a fresh start. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your premier destination and a new level up for digital radio. Over the last 2 years, we've found new ways to ensure your digital radio experience is the best it can possibly be. From live podcasts that spark new perspectives to a 24/7 soundtrack of live music, and even our built-in merch store. We've built a platform that is convenient, high quality, and simple to navigate. But we're only just getting started. Catch all of our shows weekly and join the Live the Dream Media family today and help us change the airwaves forever. Download it for free on the App Store or Play Store today. Live the dream. The dream starts now.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers, don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
Thank you for tuning in to the Live the Dream Media Network. We've got an incredible slate of live podcasts waiting for you every week right here on our app. Get your morning started right with Wake Up, hosted by Christopher DeSimone, airing Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. The momentum continues every Monday morning at 9 with the Marana and Oro Valley Experience, hosted by David Samarano and Clint Peak, followed by Truth and Tell with Blair Lametti and Summer Smeaton at 10:30 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, join us at 9 a.m. for Southwest Flavor, and don't miss Sobriety, Spirituality, and Sales every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m., Bruce Ash brings you the inside track, and we wrap up the week every Friday at 9 a.m. with former NBA player Bob Elliott on The Bob Elliott Show. It's all happening live every week. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep living the dream.
Hey everybody, it's Chris.
Hey, it's David Samarano.
Hey guys, it's Clint Peak over here.
Hi, I'm Blair Lametti Mathias.
And I'm Summer Smeaton.
Hey, I'm Ron Arenas.
And I'm Will Pena.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Curry.
And I'm Mike Bader.
Hi there, I'm Bruce Ash.
Hi, Ed Wilkinson here.
Hi, this is Bob Elliott.
We are Live the Dream Media. Watch and listen to all of our shows Monday through Friday, only on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Hey, you found us on your feed. Are you wondering what Live the Dream Media does? I'm going to explain it to you. Let's go. First and foremost, Live the Dream Media is a premier digital advertising and marketing agency, but that's not all we do. We have also become one of the largest live streaming podcast platforms in the region, with our own online radio station and more on the way. Here's the coolest part. Right now, I'm standing in Studio B, where we are getting ready to put together an awesome state-of-the-art studio to continue the growth of this platform. One of the coolest things about Live the Dream Media is we take pride in being flexible. We enjoy the ability to make changes on the fly. If Live the Dream Media is a company you feel interested in working with and want to enjoy the flexibility and all we have to offer with our new podcasting network and our digital advertising abilities, reach out to us at contact@ltdmedia.net. Visit our website, livethedreammedia.com, or check us out on social media.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, your home for the voices that matter. We're bringing you a world-class lineup of live podcasts every single week, and it all starts when the sun comes up. Wake up with Christopher DeSimone every weekday morning from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock a.m. for a high-energy start to your day. Mondays stay packed after the morning show. At 9 o'clock a.m., join David Samarano and Clint Peak for the Marana Oro Valley Experience, followed by a deep dive into Truth and Tell with Blair Lometti and Summer Smeaton at 10:30. If you're craving local insight, catch Southwest Flavor every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock a.m. Or find your center every Tuesday from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. with Sobriety, Spirituality, Sales. Midweek belongs to Bruce Ash on the Inside Track, airing every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And we're heading into the weekend with a slam dunk. Join former NBA star Bob Elliott every Friday at 9 o'clock a.m. for The Bob Elliott Show. It's more than just radio. It's your community in real time. Catch it all live on our app and start living the dream today.
Hi, this is Sean McCluskey, co-owner and designated broker for Rincon Ventures. If you're a rental owner by choice or by accident and you're looking to hire or change property management companies, consider Rincon Ventures. We employ an aggressive web-based advertising strategy to market your rental. We thoroughly screen prospective tenants and conduct routine property inspections. Our online system gives tenants the ability to pay rent and file maintenance requests instantly over the web. Our owners can use the same system to instantly check on their properties. Call Rincon Ventures at 881-2258 or visit us on the web at rvprop.com.
We've got an incredible slate of live podcasts waiting for you every week right here on our app. Get your morning started right with Wake Up, hosted by Christopher DeSimone, airing Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. The momentum continues every Monday morning at 9 with the Marana and Oro Valley Experience, hosted by David Samarano and Clint Peak, followed by Truth and Tell with Blair Lometti and Summer Smeaton at 10:30 a.m. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, join us at 9 a.m. for Southwest Flavor, and don't miss Sobriety, Spirituality, and Sales every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m., Bruce Ash brings you the Inside Track, and we wrap up the week every Friday at 9 a.m. with former NBA player Bob Elliott on The Bob Elliott Show. It's all happening live every week. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep living the dream.
Therapeutic Ranch for Animals and Kids is an inclusive community empowered and united by the strength of the human-animal bond.
It taught me responsibility. It taught me kindness and social interaction.
We have programs for every member of our community.
I love track because I have 2 daughters. We come out here and get all of our energy out.
Track is my home away from home.
You can make a donation or even become a monthly donor.
Thank you for supporting Track, Tucson's Ranch. We hope to see you here soon.
One of the most important things that we try to show the kids when they come in is family. I have on our wall a whole bunch of handprints, and so when some of the new kids come in, the first thing they do, their eyes go right to those handprints, and they ask about the handprints. Once your hand is on that wall, you have to realize that you are now a part of this family. You're stuck with us. We are here always if you need us.
Your foster care tax credit donation makes all of this possible. Give today by visiting gaptaxcredit.com.
Looking for the best outdoor patio in Tucson? Look no further than St. Philip's Plaza at the southeast corner of River and Campbell, where you can sip on Tucson's finest collection of whiskey at Union Public House, brunch 7 days a week at Reforma Modern Mexican Mezcal and Tequila, and experience our newest restaurant, Proof, proudly serving house-made pasta and artisanal pizza. Enjoy live music and dine under the stars with Union, Reforma, and Proof. Join us at St. Philip's Plaza.
Crime keeps our community safe and your identity a secret.
One anonymous tip could stop a crime, and you
We are live. Happy Monday. Welcome to another special edition of Move. Got a special guest. I'm going to do a real quick thing. Bulls fans, we lost a legend both on and off the court this weekend, Stacey King. I felt like I knew him. I didn't, but I felt like I knew him. We just heartbreaking. I guess he fell at home. 59 years old. One was on the first three three-peats, 71, 2, and 3 with the Bulls, Michael and Scotty, etc. And then was a 20-year vet of the play-by-play for the Chicago Bulls. Made some pretty ugly seasons more tolerable. You're shaking your head?
Yeah,
Stacey was.
He missed a lot of the great seasons and a lot of the.
He was a lot of fun. Special guest. General Ted Maxwell. I might as well go ahead and you're piping in. I might as well get you on board.
You know, it's you start talking sports. I mean, we can spend the next time. I mean,
Well, we might.
You think about the Bulls, and Stacey King was he was a heck of a player, incredible college player.
Oh, amazing,
amazing.
Oklahoma.
There he had some runs, and it was good.
And just a fun guy.
Yeah.
He was just always fun and huge man.
Yeah, he was a big boy. He was thick.
Yeah,
he was
thick and tall.
Yeah, There's no
a lot
doubt.
of fun. I'm a big so.
Well, I tell you, 59 years old though, that just puts things back in perspective, Clint. It's life is too short.
Yeah. Live it to its fullest.
Got to do that.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
And you and I we're practitioners of that.
We try.
Although right now with the climate, the political season,
it keeps life interesting. There's no doubt about that.
There's some frustrating moments. We were just sharing with Chris DeSimone as he left with brother Joe. Chris is running, of course, for town council in Oro Valley.
Is he really?
Yes, he is. And he's doing a fine job. I want to touch on that a little bit before we're done today. But, yeah, it's pretty rough right now. I've been doing this a long time. You've been doing this a long time. This seems like the nastiest of all, right, like across the board.
The fact of the matter is we're in a position where the two parties, and I've talked about this a lot, they've got even fractions in the parties. It doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican. I mean, Democrat, the way I term it is you've got your socialists and you've got your traditional, more traditional Democrats. You've got folks in the middle who either I don't identify with either or just are in the middle. And then on the Republican side, you've got what you call the traditional Republicans, and now you've got the populists. You know, that's the more the movement that's gotten behind and taken a lot of the leadership in the party has fallen to the populists who figured out that this is how you can ensure that your agenda is on the agenda of the party, and they have. And President Trump's very good at playing to the populace. He knows his supporters, and his supporters, even now in polling, while you hear all these things about the president's numbers being down, the strength of the supporters that still support him are incredibly strong. And that's still a large portion of the Republican Party. And it's kind of taken away the races from having the discussion on policies. It's about, do you support the president? Right. And you see that. I mean, look at just CD6, Juan Ciscomani and Joanna Mendoza. I've heard that Joanna's been in town now a couple times doing very small private events. But for the first 6 months of the campaign, and it was definitely started 6 months ago, you didn't see her. Because it's about, do you want to support? It's about Trump. And there's nothing, Congressman Ciscomani can even do, to say on some of these votes where they go, oh, you voted again with the president. Well, you know what? 98% of the time, everybody votes. I mean, it's one of those things. If you look at the votes that get all the attention, and the ones that are on straight party lines, but there's a whole bunch of other votes that go along that aren't on straight party lines, and everybody is behind. So we've gotten to the point where we're going to argue about the one at the top, and even what Chris and I were just talking about in the hall is trying to talk to people inside the community. And Chris is sounds like he's doing a really good job at diffusing the question right away. I walked the neighborhood the other day because we're going to do a meet and greet for Chris and Mark Napier. And the first thing anybody wanted to know is, are they election, one of the houses, are they an election denier? I'm going, we are we're talking about town council, town mayor. And it's
nonpartisan races.
Nonpartisan. I had to point that out. The question wasn't actually, the first question wasn't, are they election denier? It was, are they a Republican or Democrat? They wanted to know that because if they said if they're a Republican, then they're an election denier.
So I'm not listening to you if I get the wrong answer.
Right.
And if I get the right answer, then I'm all in. Right.
And that's kind of where the politics have gone. It makes it so tough. But I know Chris apparently had an encounter with somebody this weekend, and the first thing out of the person's mouth was, isn't Katie Hobbs doing a great job? And Chris was like, tell me why. And the lady couldn't really explain it, but she was the alternative to the person in elected politics she doesn't like or doesn't want. And I think you're going to see that even on our governor's race this year. They're going to make it about whether it's more so.
It is.
It's Andy
already
Biggs.
Set up for that.
Yeah, that's true. It's just going to be nasty.
I'm gonna go like a little. I didn't know we were going to get this started this quick. This is good because this is one of the two things I had. Again, come with no notes, but I knew I had two. You and I could go. Yeah, we could do a whole day.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull something up on the computer because I want to quote somebody else when we get to the second topic. But that's
this is deliberate, by the way.
Yeah.
This is deliberate by the parties. That's why you said in the middle. I'm a middle guy. Right. Hey, I have strong fiscal conservative values. That's a fact.
Right.
But I deliberately am a registered independent because
I did not know you were a registered independent though.
And have been for decades.
So did you pull? I assume you pulled a ballot for this because
100%.
For the independents that are out there listening, if you are in Pima County and you have not requested a ballot from one of the parties, you will not receive one in the mail. Right. And you will then you can go into one of the voting centers and vote, but you cannot send one in. You won't get one. So don't. Even yesterday, walk in my neighborhood, I had multiple people going, well, I should be getting one in the mail.
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah.
If you're an independent,
I'm a go to the poll guy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's just I'm a traditionalist when it comes. I'm a no DH in the major leagues, by the way, and no ghost runners at second.
So I would like to say that's what I'm a traditionalist when it comes to voting because I've voted every single election since I was 18 years old. Yep. But I was in the military at 18, and so I voted by mail almost my entire life.
That's smart because my rest of my family all vote by mail.
Yep.
And I'm usually the guy carrying your ballot to the polling place.
Well, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
I really wish there's a couple things I wish we had because I think it would help get people engaged and involved if we had a national holiday for elections.
How about we go this? I've even said a 3-day holiday.
You're just looking for time off.
No,
I'm kidding.
But you pick your date.
Right.
And we all go. Now, again, in case of military, et cetera, people that...
Oh, you've got to have mail.
There's always going to be a percentage of that. But look what's going on in L.A. right now with the mayoral candidate. And I don't know what's going on. I'm not there. But the numbers don't look like they could be statistically probable.
They don't make sense. There's absolutely about that. And what Clint's talking to, if you're unaware, is after the polls closed,
right.
Spencer Pratt was running second to the current mayor of Los Angeles, to Karen Bass. Mm-hmm. And then the third person who actually gave a concession speech and was upset and emotional about it has zoomed past him. Now, it's not in their counting. This is what I want people to understand, though. It's not in the counting. Again, it still smells funny,
but they accept 15% out.
Yeah, they accept ballots after the election's done, and that I think is a mistake for a lot of reasons.
Huge.
One is you can't avoid. People talk about Florida. Why can't we have an election in Arizona like Florida? They count their votes so fast.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times it's because they don't have close races. It's like the RTA. The RTA was called 5 minutes after they released the first batch of votes.
Yeah.
91% pre-counted, boom, done, over.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Every single vote that came, the last 9%, all could have been no's on 418 and 419 and it would have passed.
And can I, real quick, was it like 7:10 that we had the number?
Yeah, it was faster than that. I think it came out 5 minutes after 1 hour after the polls closed. So it was 8:05.
So my source was late.
Yeah.
Because I was in a board meeting and it was 10 minutes after the hour.
Yeah.
And I went, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it was complete.
It was complete. Because it took, we intentionally didn't have any press.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be real close. No press. We didn't have any electeds there. We had no desire. There was about 14, 15 of us that had all worked, including the campaign team came down, the two leaders that came down from Phoenix, and it was amazing. And all of a sudden, Joe goes,
"It's over."
Oh my God!
It's over.
I go, what? He goes, Ted, look, and he just turns the screen on the computer to me, and I go, oh, wow, that's a great start. Yeah. Oh, what? That's 91%.
Yeah. And that was at 8:05.
Yeah.
And the polling
91%
ended at 7.
7.
Okay, back to where we were at, because we're going to come back to this in a minute. No matter what the outcome, no matter what's going on, it's just a really bad look.
Oh, it's terrible.
The people that pay attention, at least, and maybe if you're not paying attention.
And I do believe we would be okay. I think we'd be better off in Arizona, because if we set a mail-in deadline. You have a mail-in deadline, has to be, received or postmarked by, but the problem is what's really hurting us isn't the mail-ins, and it isn't the mail-ins coming late. What's hurting us is the people who bring their ballots and don't show an ID, just drop their ballot off. Because every single one of those ballots that's dropped off on Election Day has to go through signature verification process. There's a quick fix. If they'd say the only way you can drop, if you file for an early ballot, so it comes to you in the mail, the only way you can drop it off is to show an ID.
You know, see, I just admitted a minute ago.
Yes, you did.
On camera. So, you know what? My family's not going to do that this year.
Okay.
They're not going to hand me the ballots and say, honey.
Well, you're allowed to drop off family ballots.
No, yeah. Well,
you can't harvest friends' ballots or neighbor ballots, but you
exactly.
can.
But I'll insist that they either mail them once they place their ballots, or they take them and drop them.
Take them and drop them on their own. And right now,
because I hadn't really even thought about it that way, but that makes total. And I bet you especially because some of these races are going to be pretty tight.
There's going to be a lot of close races. I mean,
we don't have a lot of primaries in statewide stuff or federal stuff, but the local stuff, I suspect there's going to be a lot of.
In the primaries, it's all about the local stuff. Exactly. So, but the other thing that I was surprised about walking the neighborhood was how many people didn't realize that the Oro Valley elections will be decided in the primaries.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually had one lady that said, well, I'm probably not going to, we're going to be out of town in the next couple of weeks, so we probably won't vote till the general. I said, well, if you care about who's on the mayor and council in Oro Valley, you have to do it now because it will be over. There's a slight chance that of the 5 candidates running for the 3 seats for council, maybe they'll get a couple of them that are too close for that 3rd seat. They won't have the results, the 50% they need. Yeah. But for the mayor, only 2 candidates. Yeah. One of them's going to have a majority.
Well, I've ran a few because of the situation in Marana as well. I've ran a few models, and I'm a numbers guy. It's basically impossible not to have, unless they're single shot. The single shot's the one you can't factor in.
That's the one you can't factor in. Yeah.
There's just no way to factor that number in because it varies from time to time. Yeah. But basically, every model shows within 24 to 48 hours, we're going to know who won.
Who won? Because assuming everybody votes, because you have to get over 50%. Yeah. That's what it is. You can't. Yep. If there's 2 or 3 within certain percentages, then it goes to a runoff. But like the mayor in Marana, there's 2 candidates. One of them's going to win.
Yep.
And the same thing here. Same thing. Now, Sarita's a little different because their mayor is selected by a vote of the council. But still, I think with their numbers, the chances of a runoff is very small, and people forget that. And then if you're an independent, unless you're an active independent like yourself who pulls a ballot, it can come and go, and you'll never realize it.
Yeah. But I'm active for full clear. You guys all know. But
and there's no doubt, Clint, we can improve our election systems. I don't doubt that for a second. In order to get quicker results. But Florida's reason is those races are never close. If you look at all the ones they say Florida calls, president, governor,
and
guess
they
what?
Do it within,
they're not close.
They do it within 3 hours, let's say, maybe, on the outside.
Which is just getting the counting done for the ballot people that voted that day. So there's a lot of things that we could do to improve it, but there's not. Ted's opinion, there's not the widespread fraud that everybody else thinks. But I'll tell you what, the stuff in LA.
I agree with that.
The stuff in LA is really hard to
hard to
turn on.
And I agree with that. Yeah. Let's just who was it said? Stalin? It's not who votes, it's who counts the votes.
Yeah, Stalin.
I think it was Stalin who said that. But I'm with you. I'm not like some huge conspiracy. If that's the case, then I need proof.
Right.
It's one thing to say this is what happened. But can we really like?
You still hear it again and again again, and yet there's how many years have they been trying to prosecute it and find it?
Yeah.
The proof is there. Now I went the other way, and I said this to a lady that was arguing with me at the door about if they were election deniers, and I said, listen, ma'am, I agree with you. There's things that are done inappropriate and fraudulently in every election,
100%.
Such as people collecting ballots for
100%.
neighbors, people knocking on doors and saying, have you filled out your ballot? Well, if you have yours, we'll help you. That happens. That there's zero doubt. Mm-hmm. Is it to a significant enough amount that it actually tips the scales? Mm-hmm. And I don't think it is. Yeah. I don't think it is. And it's not with the people counting the votes. Because
again, though, when you watch them, because I watched them a couple of years ago real close when we had a tight one here in Marana. Yeah. Watching them does not instill confidence, by the way.
Oh, no.
When you physically watch the room and they're moving ballots and people are touching stuff and they're moving, I'm like, I want this like a vault at the bank, right?
So, but I'll go back to think about the count that the legislature did on the election, the 2020 election in Arizona. Mm-hmm. I mean, they spent all that time. You had Anthony Kern. You had all these people out there. You had them all doing their own. They picked who counted.
Mm-hmm.
When they came back, Biden actually gained like 118 votes.
It was still the same.
It was no difference. He actually gained.
Yeah.
This is the people that were looking for differences, and Biden gained like 118 votes. It's just so difficult to do. We SALC, the organization that I lead, or that I'm the CEO of, the members lead it. But we had early in this year, we had a whole thing on the confidence in elections and what Arizonans are looking for good elections, and everybody wants it to be accurate, accessible, and quick. Those are the three things they want. They want to be accessible, accurate, and quick. So they don't want, in other words, the vote is the will of the people, is what everybody's looking for. And then you got to other things that shifted. But we also had the county recorder, Cesaris Kelly, come in, and we also had the county director of the elections. And what was the only question they didn't answer well, because I know how I would have answered it, is somebody in one of our member stumps said, How big do you think the fraud in the last election was? And my answer would have been, I know of no fraud, because if I had, those ballots would have been thrown out.
Yeah.
And she said, there's no indications of anything widespread. There was no indications. It just, to me, that's when you should be
that
ready
old question.
for.
Are you still beating your
Beating
wife?
your wife. Yeah, it is. It was. I mean, it was. I was when we handed him the mic and he asked the question. I went, "Oh God, this is a rough one."
Yeah.
But it should have been, to me, it should have been a no-brainer. There's no fraud in it. If there was, we wouldn't have allowed it.
Exactly. And I'll go one step further. If you achieve those three that you just mentioned, then get behind the person that won and let's go.
Absolutely, Clint. And
it's that old saying. It's like rooting against your airline pilot, and you being a pilot, right?
Yeah.
Because
I haven't heard that one though.
He or she didn't. I don't agree with them or didn't vote for them. Well, I'm going to root against my pilot. And you being a pilot, you understand where I'm coming. That's nuts.
That's crazy. And to me, you've got to have the evidence. You just have to have the evidence. When Iraq, back pre the new government, would routinely say they had 101% voters. Wait, that doesn't make any sense, really. That's what you're going to announce. And there's plenty of countries that their elections are train wrecks and they're facades.
I'd say,
but they're
chunk
not.
of them.
But they're not in ours.
Yeah.
What we need is more people voting.
Well, that was my next. I just mentioned a statement, and Chris Collins, our executive pastor at Oral Valley Church in Nazarene, we do a great job at our church, really pushing the agenda. They're not recommending candidates, but they're saying get involved. If you're not registered, go get registered. 40 million Christians, and I'm just saying this as a Christian, did not vote in the last election. Now, I'm not as we said off camera, I don't expect that all 40 million would vote one way.
Right. Oh, they wouldn't. But they probably lean.
But it's probably leaning
the way you think.
The way I would think. Probably they're leaning their 60-40 or something like that. That's a game changer. And basically every election, 40 million throughout the United States. And what percentage vote in especially off-season election of the general?
So that was a big deal in the RTA in our mind. The
reason, what was that, 28%?
It's normally 22 to 24%. It was 31% in this election, which we took as a positive sign of the campaign.
Don't you think that was the outlying area? You would know that.
Yeah.
The Oral Valley, Marana.
Yes, and it was also the vote that carried it from barely passing to 60%. Yeah. It was the 7,000 voters who normally don't take the time to go to the poll. Or 7% of the voters that don't take the time to go to the poll, and we had 200, and we had 231%, about 205,000 voters. But that means, just think about that. If that's 31%, quick math, that meant almost 400, 450, 500 didn't vote. And in the primary, it's almost as bad.
Yeah,
it's you're in the 30s, low 30s. Yeah. The general, if it's off cycle like it is this year. You only expect about 60, 65. If it's presidential race, you get up about 80. That means there's still 1 in 5 voters aren't playing.
Yeah. You know what? That's one of the things, especially moving forward, that we've talked about here.
Right.
We got to do a better job getting people to get involved in.
We got to start telling.
Not only vote, that's you casting. We need that.
Right.
for me, anything under 80% is just kind of like reading. If you can't read at a grade level and you're in the 20s, 30s, it's the same. Maybe there's correlation here.
Let's think about it this way, Clint. So if only 60% of the people elect him, then you get a D or F rated candidate.
Exactly.
If you get 80 or 90% of the people that are actually involved in the process, you've probably vetted that person. And it's, I say all the time, our most sacred right we have in this country is the right to vote.
I'm 100%.
Our most sacred responsibility is to be an informed voter.
100%.
Which when people don't understand that, Marana, Sarita, 28 of the 29 cities in the state of Arizona have nonpartisan open primaries, which means somebody.
Who's the only one that doesn't? Is it?
Oh, who do you think?
Here.
Oh, City of Tucson. Yes, the City of Tucson has.
And they've got
a weird system on top of it.
We'd have to do a flow chart to show how that works.
Yeah, but they're the only ones that doesn't. But one of the things people go, well, why don't you? I mean, there's a lot of people that wanted to know, hey, are these folks Republicans or Democrats you're walking for? Are these, what are they? It's a nonpartisan election. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be local governance. Mm-hmm. It's about the community. It's about what it is. And I hate to break the news to some of these people as they were wanting to know, hey, are they election deniers? They're running in Oro Valley. They're running in Marana. These are people that are going to make the decisions that are going to change, have the largest impact on your life locally. They're going to determine what your community does, if it expands, how it pays, if and how it pays taxes. I mean, that's all the stuff that's just local. So you've got to show up, and in this one, you have to show up in the primary. So Even on the RTA, I went into some rooms that as many people in the room were yelling at me as were saying, you make sense. Mm-hmm. And the ones that were either hardcore, I want the tax cut, I don't want to pay another 50%, or in the hardcore rooms where it's not enough transit. Mm-hmm. I understand. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be able to change your mind, but please still go vote, because you got to vote.
Yeah. The old saying, and I agree with this, can't be 1,000, so 100%.
It can be. You can call it 1,000%.
I use that with Kimberly. I was almost going to use it with Kimberly, who is a big supporter of Kimberly. What a wonderful human being.
You mean the individual who got the most votes statewide the last two times?
Ed Honey, our mutual friend, our late Ed Honey, he loved her.
He did. He really did.
And I was on the side of a lot of conversations with him and her. That's actually how I met her, through the phone.
Yeah.
And I said something about 1,000. Well, 1,000 is not realistic, but I'm supporting your candidacy 100%. Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story about.
She'd say, well, if you want to support me 1,000% financially, go for it.
Well, let me tell a story. Okay. And I'll do a brief version of this. I use a prop, but I'm not going to use a prop. Well, I will. I'll use a prop.
Here we go. Yeah. Oh, my payment's coming out. No, I didn't know this was a paid gig.
So we're at this event where she asked me to do a little, wrap-up presentation, which 3 minutes. It felt, I want to. Everybody's ready to go at this point. Oh yeah. I'm the last person in the room. So we're holding the signs up, and I just slowly just handed her I pulled it out of my jacket pocket, a check that Tammy had written, and handed it to her. And Tammy was making friends in the back, so I went in back.
Of course.
We were at the hole in the wall.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful. I'd never been up on the other side. Anyway. So her aide, I think her name is Amy, came to, cute young lady, and just came to, hey, Clint, Kathleen says you've got something for her. Or Kimberly says you've got something for her. And I'm like, well, I gave it to her. Just slipped it behind the sound, when we were holding it. And I'm like, well, let's go check before she leaves. And she's digging around there. And she pulled out this prayer card I had pulled out of my jacket pocket from the previous Sunday. That's a good friend of mine.
That's outstanding.
That's their child, Corey Holcomb. I said, pray for Corey, but... Here's
it was a piece of paper coming out of your pocket.
I didn't even really look at it.
That one's probably more important.
Yeah, well, that one folded in half. That looks about like what a check would be folded in half, doesn't it? Yeah. I didn't look at it.
So is he deployed right now?
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes. PO3, Corey C. Hold'em. Good friend of mine's, their child. He's in the Navy. Yeah, we did that a week or so ago.
Yeah.
And I had, obviously, my jacket hasn't been to the cleaner in that time frame. But all politics are local in my world. They just, I mean, yeah, we have a federal government and we send people to represent us, but what happens, you just said it so eloquently, what happens in Marana, what happens in Oro Valley, what happens in Tucson, Pima County, Saurita, that affects you way more than what's going on out there in this netherland.
I mean, if you look at all the things that they debate and they argue and they fight about all the time on the national schedule level. I mean, obviously, if the Supreme Court weighs in and makes some decisions, that's going to impact people a lot for a lot of different reasons. But for the Congress and the presidency, that's a churn. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, SLC, for example, we advocate at the local and state level because we feel that's where the biggest impact. And
it's the roads you drive on, the schools your kids attend, the quality of life that you live in is based on. And if you look at the town council of Marana, and I do want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah,
these people, some of them, their families have been there for 120 years. Others, it's 80 years. Others, it's 70. Ed, again, back to Ed Honey, the family, they started the first water company. Ed and his younger brother dug the first water lines in this town. Concrete. Yeah. In Marana. I mean, these people, and they did it Marana was formed for water purposes.
Oh yeah, well, I learned that when they were having the data center debate because a couple of citizens got up and talked about annexation, which is important, which I think is a huge piece in the Oro Valley conversation now.
Huge.
But to the point, it's not just who's got an impact on your life; it's where can you actually influence. Try as an individual,
right?
Trying to say, I'm going to go back to D.C. and change the world. Now, there are stories that do, and they always become movies, and they're great things. But if you really want to be able to influence the policies and the rules and the regulations and the zoning rules and the economic prosperity you have in your region, the best place to do it's with your town council. And there's some education for one. You got to have the state controls it. People forget we are the United States. The 50 states give the federal government the empowerment.
Exactly.
And if you look at and we've kind of lost some of this because I'd argue that the Constitution very clearly defined what the federal government can do. And sometimes they overstep the bounds.
That's a marathon podcast with us.
Yeah.
You started unpacking that. I mean, my gosh. Yeah. It's narrow. I know where you're going with that. Yeah. And we haven't had this conversation, but that... The
power is supposed to be in the states. People wonder think about it. July 4th, 1776.
250 coming up.
250's coming up. But when did we actually have a constitution?
Yeah, it was 11 years later?
89, I think. I think it was 89. Yeah. So 13 years later.
later.
And why did it take so long? Because they couldn't get the individual states to agree. So there was compromise. There were
literally fist fights outside the saloons where they were writing this thing.
Absolutely.
Literally. So I wanted to make this interjection when we were talking about all that's going on and the craziness. If you really study elections in the United States, it's been going on since the jump ball. It's not really any crazier. It's just we can see it more because we have more media that broadcast everything. But
campaigning tours and debates used to be really fraught with fear. We talk about how much now, let them speak, it used to be constant yelling. It used to be throwing oranges and rotten tomatoes and fist fights.
Again, physical.
It was crazy. Yeah. But to our point, and this is what I really appreciate about not only what you're doing here at Live the Dream, but also what Move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the Marana Oro Valley experience is you're focusing local.
Yep.
There's things
hyper focus on this
because that's got that has the most impact. But you've got to vote, and the most important elections are these upcoming primaries for our councils and mayors. And don't fool yourself. There's a slates now running in Marana. There are two different sides to choose. To a lesser extent in Oro Valley, but don't fool yourself.
Correct.
There are those that are happy with the fact that Oro Valley did not grow last year. We actually went down in population, just like the city of Tucson.
And for full disclosure, you and I both live in Oro Valley.
We both live in Oro Valley.
Oh, Ed, you say, Clint, you live in Marana, you sleep in Oro Valley. That's pretty. And you know what? That would almost be accurate for you, too. You live in the county, which includes Marana, and you sleep in Oro Valley.
That's true.
Well, you're almost a statewide guy.
Well, for what I do, for what I do for a living, it is absolutely as much as in interaction with each of the individuals, municipalities.
Right.
Majority of the time, the city of Tucson and the county. Then obviously,
and
got
for
some
full
issues
disclosure, if you're not keeping track at home, that's 9 entities that make up I'll use the 9 that make up the RTA.
Right.
You know, so there's 9 separate entities that you deal with.
Yeah,
daily.
eight other than ADOT.
Right.
ADOT.
Right.
I'm the ADOT role, and on the PAG, the Pima Association of Governments, there's 8 governments. You've got the county, you got the 5 municipalities, and you got the 2 tribes.
Okay, now you're going to have to help me with this one. I should know this, but one of them is led by our dear friend Mayor Tom Murphy.
That's Sarita. That's the town of Sarita.
Okay, and he leads which one?
The town of Sarita.
But I mean, as far as the PAGs, him and John.
Oh yeah, no. So
chair.
the 2 chairs, and the chairs rotate. The chairs rotate monthly. John Post is currently the chair of the Pima Association of Governors.
There you go.
Governments, and Tom Murphy is the chair of the Pima Regional Transportation Authority, the RTA.
Okay, and that rotates every month?
Every year.
Or every year.
Every year. I said months, but every year.
Yeah. You know, something that and you know, I've been really being the guy crying to Marana, shouting out, hey guys, the thing you've had here for 100 years with no outside distractors, for better or worse. I'm just saying, these new folks, this 40,000 new folks that have showed up this century, they're not playing your game, for better or worse. I'm just saying.
It's not even not playing their game. What they
want to make changes. Well, they want power because they want that budget as much as anything.
Of course, and the fact of the matter is, Marana
that's a poor
is
choice
growing.
of word, playing the game, because that implies.
If you look at Marana, Oro Valley, Sarita, and you look at the growth, city of Tucson, South Tucson,
percentage-wise, Marana's blowing them out of the water.
Their growth is going, and it's the closest connectivity to Interstate 10, which is the closest connectivity to the great state of Maricopa, as some people call it. But the business, and so the economic growth, it is the first spot of an economic environment moving down from Phoenix towards us.
Yep.
And Marana's there, and they've got the land.
Yeah.
You take up. One of my favorite moments of all time was flying Ed Honey about a year before he passed. May have even been less than that. I'm going to have to go look at those dates. And taking him up and flying him over Marana. And for anybody that day that we made a little bit too much noise, it was just a single prop plane. But I had to get the altitude right so Ed could see everything on the ground. And you still get up over there. One, the amount of development going on, the amount of homes that are going up is phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. But the amount of land that is still available. I mean,
what are we still like? I think I heard somewhere the other day we're still at like 60% in Marana. That's land.
The land, that's available to grow.
6%.
Yeah, we've got in Oro Valley. We have, other than state land, which isn't our land, doesn't belong to the city, the town of Oro Valley. It's about 6%,
and 60%.
And think about how small 6% is. We're talking, you can maybe build a neighborhood here.
You
can build a neighborhood here. There's really no place to build much business. I mean, you've got the innovation. There's some still properties up on the Innovation Way, but not much. But Marana, you just get up in the air and you just go, wow.
And thousands and thousands and thousands of acres.
Yeah. And then there was so much that was said. And the interesting thing, and this is what I appreciated about some of the conversations that were being had when they were rezoning for the data centers. And remember, Marana had a data center policy before they even talked to a single data center. They put it in place.
Couple of years before that.
They put it in place.
Yeah.
They put restrictions. Yeah. They basically said, you've got to comply with us. And Mayor Post was very clear, and no non-disclosure agreements. None of my council is going to be under a non-disclosure agreement. If you tell us, we can talk to the people about it, that's huge. Yeah. But as they were going through it, just seeing some of the old citizens, the ones that you said were generational. I mean, how many times can somebody walk up to the Post to speak at Call Irons and go, hi, John. Hey, Fred. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah.
And then tell you the history of Marana, and that this is where I learned. Yeah. Marana was first start to ensure that we preserved and protected our water. But what we realized really quickly, without revenue, We're not really a town.
100%. And that's where people like, and I don't want to drift too far, people like Orame and some of these old school leaders were just so in. They were smart. These people were ahead of their time.
Well, the Golden Triangle, which is part of what's bringing on some of the different people that are voting. Yeah. The Golden Triangle, when the city of Tucson decided they didn't want to incorporate where Costco and now Topgolf and all that is. Yeah, right. That's right. Right here. We're in the Golden Triangle. Yeah. That's when Marana said, "All right, we'll bring you on."
You know what she did?
That was crazy.
She bought an old cop car and started patrolling this area before it became Marana. And so when it came time to make that happen.
I didn't know that story.
Well, Dave Bowen sat right there. Dave Bowen, you know, Dave was with the council a couple of terms back in the teens. Shared that. I hadn't heard that story. I heard a lot of stories about her.
Yeah,
but I had not heard that story. They bought an old cop car at an auction and patrolled this property right here. You know, one other thing about, again, getting to know Ed, getting to know John Post, getting to know Herb, getting all these people again.
And Herb Kai, by the way, the Veterans Memorial, without the Kai family, the Veterans Memorial Cemetery wouldn't exist, and that has been a life changer for those of us in the military. Yeah. There are so many people who, one, were holding off on burying their loved ones' remains until that was just the rumor of that was going to open up. Why? Because it's close to where they live. It's close to where they can go. And now they can go out there and visit them. And the fact, you know, I mean, there are so many people that made that place happen, but it wouldn't have happened if the Kais hadn't been willing to
James
donate
and
the
Herb Kai and the Kai family were extremely generous to give that. You know, one thing that really has, I'm a term limit guy, have been since I can remember.
I'm not a term limit guy, but I believe right now we need term limits.
Okay.
I believe that will, I mean, just the amount of money, if we want to go federal real quick, Congress, but don't fool yourself. There are some folks that the best jobs they've ever had in their life, and they're making more money now at the state legislature than they ever made before. But, you know, just what we see back in D.C. tells you that, okay, we need to consider term limits. Because the amount of money, the amount of things you're doing, there's other things we can do, like not allow Congress to publicly traded stocks.
That's
duh. But some people are going to say, why? They don't give up their rights. Yeah. It's just like me as a retired general officer. You know, we hear these things about, you can't, as a retired military person, you can't say certain things. Wait, did I give up my First Amendment rights?
That used to be my argument on a lot of things. David, you know, my partner, Sam Marana, was a police officer, and we deal with people a lot of times that are in public service, and they're like, I can't say that, or they have to get cleared. And I get it. If you're going to talk smack about your job, you're probably going to. There's going to be repercussions.
Well, if you're still in the service,
exactly.
If you're still in the service, there's a lot of things you need to be very cautious about what you're saying in the public and what you're doing.
But you didn't give up your first right.
But you don't give up your First Amendment. No.
But back to the term limits. I have evolved or grown term limits on the federal level. I'm still 100% for that. Yeah. But the local level, I'm not, and I'll tell you why.
I agreed.
I'll tell you why. We don't have enough qualified people that are willing to put themselves, their lives, their family on the line to serve locally. And are we going to boot again? We're going to go. I'm going to default back to Ed. Are we going to default? I mean, we're going to boot Ed with all of his knowledge and all of his relationships.
And I never
we're going to boot him because he's been serving too long.
I never forget the fact that I when he ran the last time, I remember going into it before, and I said, Ed, man, why are you going to run again? I go, come on, you've got all your grandkids, you've got everybody else. And he looked at me and he said, Ted, this is what I do. And when when my wife passed, people were saying, well, maybe you should slow down. He goes, why? He goes, first off, I enjoy it. Second off, I'm damn good.
Yeah, he was.
And I am. There was nobody that cared about Marana and the people of Marana.
If you lived in Marana, Ed was your biggest cheerleader, supporter, and advocate.
Absolutely,
100%.
Yeah.
He didn't care who you were, what family you came from. He was trying to lift your life up.
Absolutely. And let's go back to the term limits. You're right. That in and of itself, that explanation of some of those folks who have served on the council, some of the folks you've seen in other localities serve on the council, is Why chase away the ones that are good?
Exactly.
There's not enough that really want to do that or are willing to do it. Because remember, you don't get paid much.
I was just kidding.
You get a.
You were reading
I
my
want to say
mind.
it's like $800.
Well,
yeah, it's something. It's something ridiculous.
The town of Marana just increased their pay. I'm not sure exactly, but they were making less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
And Oro Valley's even
worse. Lower.
Worse off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've got to raise the pay. And here's why: you're never going to attract any younger people into. Not that they should be doing it for the pay.
No,
but you're never going to
it's
attract
service,
anybody to do it if they're losing money.
Yeah.
You got to cover your gas money. Somebody with 3 or 4 kids,
it's hard. You say, "Oh, it's a part-time job." I mean, it
really isn't, though.
It can't be. You can never turn it off.
How can you go to the store? Because I used to drag Ed around. Ed, for full disclosure, couldn't see very well.
Right.
And the last 5 years, it was my honor. Matter of fact, we were picking him up the day he passed away. Yeah. Tammy and I were going to go grab him. We were going to go lunch, and a friend of mine was looking at something, and he wanted Ed to take a look at it, right? And we were with him every other day or so. And it was my pleasure. I don't have a real job, so I can haul the mayor around. I was going to get little flags.
Not doing bad for not having a real job.
Yeah. I was going to get little flags when I bought the new vehicle. I'm like, I was going to install the flags on it saying I'm hauling the town of Marana's mayor around. But people loved him.
Yeah.
And he was so approachable. He could be sitting down and eating his chili, and he loved to eat. We hit every restaurant in town.
Right. And here's the challenge. For a local municipality with the total number of voters, your vote counts. And you can make a difference. And if there's a change that needs to be made, you can make it happen.
The last election, 24, Marana, the last seat on the council was decided by 14 votes.
Yeah. Is that incredible?
The previous election, 22, the last seat on the council was 54 votes.
Right, and this is where sometimes I think the city of Tucson doesn't understand why so many people would like to see them go nonpartisan open primaries. And if you're going to have districts or wards, in their case, the ward elects who represents them. Something that's not great, and because when we make these statements right now that the voters can change out the leadership in a city and town if they want, look no further than Oro Valley.
100%.
Look no further than Oro Valley. Yeah. When Satish Hiremath, and I thought he did a great job as mayor, then they brought the golf course in, the community became an uproar. The next thing you know, boom.
Gone. All of them.
All of them. So you can do it. Now, the voting structure, people go, well, then why haven't they replaced the city and the council and mayor in Tucson? Everybody says they're bad. Well, part of it's the voting system. Yeah. But the truth is, I bet if you went open nonpartisan primaries in there,
it would change.
Mayor Romero would continue to win. The district, the wards, they might be a little closer.
They would. I think they'd change.
They could change, and it changes the way everybody can run on the same platform if it's citywide. And everybody goes, "Oh yeah, but we're one city." Understand that, but you've got multiple residents. You got multiple voices. You need to have those voices have a voice at the table as well.
Hey, I love what you just said. And I want to echo that again. If you're any listeners or viewers that are tuning in right now, I think for me personally, I grew up. We're the same age, roughly. I was born actually in the 50s, but I grew up in the 60s and 70s.
Okay? Oh, you got me by a few years.
Yeah,
I was born in the 60s, just barely.
Yeah, back into the 50s.
Front end of the 60s.
It's a trick question because people don't really think that far. They think, well, we are. I am.
Oh yeah,
but greatest president in my lifetime. Greatest president in my lifetime. I'll just ask you, greatest president in my lifetime. Who is it? In my lifetime, who would I pick? Who's my pick?
Well, I'm going to hope you pick who I'd pick, and that'd be Ronald Reagan.
Okay. No,
I was afraid of that.
Dwight Eisenhower.
Oh, that's true, but see, he wasn't in my lifetime.
See, in my lifetime, that's why that question kind of throws people off. Most people think that.
And here's the scary part: if people start looking at, start thinking, who is the most effective person when it comes to fiscal responsibility, balanced budgets, and the economy? Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
That was the last time we had a balanced budget.
Actually, I throw him on my short list, and people are like, "Whoa, you picked Eisenhower, you picked Reagan, and then you picked Clinton. How does that work?" Well, I'm a realist.
Yeah.
And Clinton with Gingrich put together a really really good package. People overlook. See, there's bipartisan leadership.
There's bipartisan leadership where they said they threw down hard. Nobody was going to say that Gingrich wasn't a conservative, that he didn't have his vision for the country. But because they sat and talked, they didn't count numbers and trust me, the numbers help. When you've got a Republican majority and a Democratic president, you should be able to work some things out. And that was the last time we had a balanced budget.
Okay, think about it. That was half our lifetime ago.
I know. That's the scary part.
Literally, in my case, that's half my lifetime ago, because that was 93, right?
Yeah.
Or 94.
When was
94.
he in?
Well, it was 94 that
94
they
is
did
the ballot budget. Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's actually not quite half, but pretty close.
Pretty close.
And we haven't had that. That's where I think it's grown really ugly, Ted. And that's a conversation for another day. But that's where education, and I don't mean education in the schools, although I'm already starting to lobby Dr. Dan Streeter just a little bit about how do we get, especially our local
civics.
Yeah.
Civics.
But our legends locally, the Brad Despains and people like that can get in while they're still with us and share
tell the story.
How Marana, just tell it from a story standpoint. No partisans involved. This isn't partisan. This is just what happened.
When Marana started, it was there was no partisans, and there's still really in Marana actually in Marana, and I'll say Oro Valley, because the big question everybody's got up there. We've got 5 candidates running for 3 seats on the council, and 2 candidates running for mayor. So you got 4 seats available. You got 7 people running. I don't think anybody knows what party any of these people are, other than Mark Napier, because he ran for public office before.
Yeah. You know what? Newsflash, of all these candidates running here, they're not all from the same party, and I know that for a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not breaking any secrets, or I'm just telling you. So the nonpartisan, I'd love to see every election. You can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, you can be an independent. I don't care about that, but I'd love to see all elections with no. Because wouldn't that change the dynamic? You can be either party, any party you want. I don't care.
And let's be honest. In Phoenix, they know who the conservatives, it's probably the Republicans, they know who the liberals, probably the Democrats are when they run. But it's still a nonpartisan open primary. Yeah. And the big thing people don't miss in our state, 25 of the 30 elected districts for the state legislature are safe for one party or the other. So by our current system that we use, it's over in the primary, which you only get 35% or 40%. You don't get everybody. And I would much rather see, if I lived in a district that was a plus 20 Democrat, I'd rather see 2 Democrats in the general. I'd just rather see it.
That's why, and Chris DeSimone and I, we've had this conversation several times. That's why you get the extremist. Because if you're setting positive 20 or 30, some of these are positive 40. Some of them. This one here.
Oh, yeah. CD7's huge.
It's positive 40?
Yeah, just under, I think just under that 35. But it's.
We don't have to bring any. What's the word I'm looking for, Ted? There's no
partisanship.
It's
100%. There's 9 congressional districts. To your point, 9 congressional districts. 3 are safe Republican. Yeah. Period. Hardcore. Period. Gosar's district.
Yeah.
Crane's district. Well, no, Crane's actually considered a pink on the color chart.
Eli?
But Eli. Well. But it's always been safe. But remember that whole district up there, which used to come down into Oro Valley just to get Republicans, was held by Tom O'Halloran forever. A Democrat. But it's
safe conservative. How about we say that?
It's safe conservative. That's because even O'Halloran was more conservative than the rest of the Democrats. But there's 3 strong Ds that are bright dark blue, 3 strong R districts, dark red. So you're guaranteed 3 and 3. You got 2 toss-ups, and then you got Eli Crane's district, which is light red.
And we're wrapping up.
It's funny, we're wrapping up, and we haven't even talked about what you brought me on for.
Well, we're going to bring you back.
I'm always willing to come back.
We did. That was the quickest hour. Hey, you know what? We can squeeze a little bit. We can sneak a little bit in. Let's spend because the next show doesn't start till 10:30. So let's spend about 3 minutes. Okay, and then we'll tease them for the next time.
Sounds good.
Let's spend about 3 minutes talking about what I really brought you on for. I didn't know we were going to go this.
No, this was great. This was first off, Clint. I'll always come back. I love conversations. I love to talk politics. I love to talk policy. What happened was about now it's a little over a week. I got an op-ed published after it had been turned in 2 weeks prior to that. It finally got published in the Arizona Daily Star.
And if you haven't read it,
you just search Ted Maxwell,
or reach out. We'll make sure it's available.
But it was actually ironic because the day prior to me, an op-ed by Taylor Davidson went in where he talked about citizenship and how we need more citizens in this community, and we need the local government to think about the citizens of their community. Don't think about the climate. Don't think about this. That stuff's important. And don't get me wrong. And I'll tell you, I think the United States is one of the countries that does the best job on dealing with issues like that compared to a lot of other big countries like China. But the fact of the matter is you got to have citizens, and you've got to it's important that the elected officials listen to the citizens when they're speaking up, which was very similar. And everybody's going, oh, you guys collaborated? Nah. We both, Taylor and I have laughed about the fact that these got published so close together, because mine was predominantly driven by the fact that there was a protest. This is where it got me upset. There was a protest by one of the I think it's called the Chalupa Brigade, but I don't want to quote that for sure. But they went into the doors of a local law firm that was working with with Beal Infrastructure, who's from infamous Project Blue. They went in basically uninvited, unannounced into a private business, drums, cans, pots, noise blowers, fully masked, cameras rolling, video, phones rolling, getting in everybody's face, yelling, screaming, moving stuff on desks. They left a letter saying, if this will continue, if you don't stop your relationship with Beal Infrastructure immediately. And there's only 3 of the 12 elected officials between the city of Tucson and Pima County, Rex Scott, Matt Hines, and Nikki Lee, that spoke up and said, that is wrong. That was dangerous. That was illegal. That was all those things. So that was what pushed me over the edge. But the op-ed talked about a lot of other things. Talked about open-air drug use. It talked about the increases in panhandling, the lack of serious conversation about shoplifting or dealing with what some people go, oh, petty crimes. They're not petty crimes. They're crimes. They're crimes. And so it was my point was, I need the elected officials to speak up when things like this happen. We need them to say what they think. And what it's turned into is the real premise is I want to hear them say, what is it that is absolutely unacceptable for you in our communities? What is it that you think we cannot tolerate? Tim Steller, the couple days prior, had just written an article on how our window view, when you drive through the town, you see the worst of it because you're on the cars, you're on the lanes, you're not stopping anywhere, you're just seeing it all. Whereas when he bikes or walks, he avoids, in his quote in his article, he avoids those dangerous and unsightly areas. So I had Tim on the radio with me, and we talked at length about it, and he recognized that was probably wrong, especially when you go back to an article he wrote in August right after the Project Blue debacle. And he, in it, says, fix the roads, make the road infrastructure better, enforce your zoning laws, increase public safety, keep the lights on. He went down all these things that were the same stuff I was talking about in my article, and he says, and if the local elected officials will do that, our economy will have wins. So when I
imagine that.
So when I quoted that to him, he kind of threw up his shoulder and said, "You're right."
I said it, and it's correct.
But the point is, we spend so much time trying to fix all the problems in our region, all of them, and all the problems that we are beyond our control. Things like climate change and some other things. Yes, we need to be good stewards. 100% agreed. I'm not telling you that we shouldn't. But what we need to do is stop focusing time on that when we could be focusing time on something
100%.
else. Let me know what is unacceptable to you, and then I'll bring the business community, and we will work on solutions. We may not always agree on the solutions, but let's say if we want to we'll take panhandling. Well, you can start by putting signs on the street corners like they have in the county.
Yeah, the county's done that.
I mean, La Cañada and Orange Grove.
And it kind of worked.
La Cañada and Orange Grove, I never see a panhandler. Why? Because there's a big sign, don't support panhandling, support the organizations that support those in need. That's all it says. That's all it says.
And for me, up here,
and
I pass a few of those on my way in, I never see anybody there.
No.
Because they enforce it.
Bingo.
The first time somebody shows up there, they're like, hey,
you can't do this.
Yeah. And Ted, I think that's human nature. is we want to solve all there's a lot of problems. There's tons of problems.
Yeah,
and we good intentioned people go out and they start trying to solve all of them at once. Well, you can't. That's not practical.
No,
there's no one person other than I'll bring the Lord into this. He could do it.
He could do it.
But other than that, there's no one person that can solve these issues. Let's grab one, and you know what? Let's go ahead and grab a big one, like you say, panhandling or homeless people. Let's grab a big one and start addressing it. Or how about we do this? Let's grab a big one and a small one,
right,
and start addressing some of these issues together.
And guess what? Victories
and celebrate the victories.
Yes, and guess what? Victories build to
another victory,
more victories. Another victory.
I've had this conversation with numerous people because, again, you know, now that you understand where I'll chat with anybody.
Right.
I don't care if you're willing to be cordial and civil. I'll have a conversation with anybody about anything. Right.
Right.
There's no litmus test before I sit down with you. And I can say that, especially let's say my real hardcore liberal friends, many of which I didn't know they were until they
told you so.
Told me, hey, you know. and I'm like, well, wait, hang on a second. What's important to you? If some stranger came to you and I, Ted, now we'd probably hit on all of them. But if they came to any group, let's say hard right, hard left. What percentage of the things are we going to agree on that we'd like to see happen?
A large majority.
Almost all. I had a real liberal. I didn't know he was liberal till a few elections ago, and he's losing his mind.
Well, that's the problem. We've allowed those conversations
and I brought him
to drive everything.
I brought him back to earth. I said, we were out here in the parking lot. I said, you see that mountain right there? The sun is going to come up over that mountain tomorrow. And it's going to set over there tomorrow. And it's going to keep doing that.
Right.
Right? And that's when I said, if some stranger approached us right now and said, hey, his name's Lee. Lee, Clint, what do you guys agree on? And he said, oh, probably 7 or 8. I said, bingo.
Right.
And we might disagree on how we get there. And that's okay. You know what? I've been married to my wife for 35 years. We live together.
Awesome.
We've worked together. We carpool together. We've ran businesses together. Most of those 35 years, we've been in close contact with each other. I remember one time we were going somewhere and Paul Harvey was saying the average married couple spends like 7 minutes a day. And we laughed and we
were
like,
at each other going,
we'll be 7 minutes before we get to where we're going.
Yeah.
But you know what? We disagree a lot.
Right.
Never about really the important stuff, but we disagree a lot.
It's the side details. It's the little stuff, and we let that take over.
You think it affects our love for each other? I can speak for myself. Actually, it makes it better. You know that there's hot and cold.
It'd be really boring otherwise.
Oh, my mother, rest her soul, used to say about my sister. She's kind of like I am. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of throwing her under the bus. But we're kind of wired the same way. The other two siblings, they're wired kind of the same way. And I'd say something about if I were king for a day or she's queen for a day. Oh, I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah.
Well, but the buses would run on time, Mom. You understand there'd be some practical benefits from that. Yeah. But no, it would be really boring if we were all. And I think that's the scope of when it comes to politics. I don't want to live in a silo. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. Right. I really want to have conversations with people that I know going in are going to disagree with me.
Well, ultimately, echo chambers on either side is not going to have a good outcome.
There's another. Go ahead.
Well, the thing I want everybody to understand is we have to decide what it is that we need to fix, and whether it's the open air drug use or how we get people into treatment or how we do. And there's things the cities and the county are doing. There are steps in the right direction. I don't think they're strong enough, but that's my opinion. You know, some of the stuff under the Safe City Initiative, they're now, when they had a bus the other day, the TPD went in, 13 people were found with narcotics on them. They said, here's your choice. You're going to jail or you're going to treatment. Now, the question is, could they leave treatment after a day and have no harm, no foul? That's where we have to work on the details of how we get to actual solutions. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, what I see when I drive through our town, I see people living in which I would call an environment that what kind of humans are we if we think this is good for them, acceptable, or by their choice? Don't get me wrong. There's some people that like to live an unlawful life and be out there, but the majority of them, that's not a quality of life.
And it starts with mental illness.
It's not.
It starts with
that's a big part.
That's a huge problem.
And you've got mental illness. You've got those that are addicted,
and
hardcore addicts.
Mental illness compounded with drug or alcohol addictions. What is it? Like 30% of the high 20s of Americans have some sort of mental illness?
Yes. I think it's something like that.
And again, that's another marathon show.
It is.
Back in the day, we used to have what we called insane asylums or the mental wards.
But you can do it. And when you have me back, we'll talk about the San Jose mayor of San Jose. He's reduced homelessness population by 30%. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure a lot of the folks just have realized they can't stay in San Jose because there's accountability. Yeah. He does it through compassion and accountability. Here's the kicker. He's a strong Democrat who's probably running for governor. And the Democratic Socialist side of the party in California, which is pretty large, is eating him up and claiming he's really just a conservative.
Is he running now? He's not running. Is he in?
Yeah, I think his name's one of like the 12.
Oh, okay.
It's so. Yeah. But I think I can just tell you, he actually was in the same program with Mayor Romero at Bloomberg, but he's a Democrat. He's using a lot of the things that Spencer Pratt in L.A. was espousing for. They're chewing Pratt up. And if you looked at it, it's become ideological, helping and solving those issues of homelessness, drugs, mental illness has become ideological from the side of, oh, well, if you're a conservative, you just want to lock them up.
What would Jesus do?
Right.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Bill Maher, who I find very entertaining, especially here of late. He said, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said, he's like talking about the homeless. Yeah, like they're living their best life underneath that bridge.
Right.
And we're okay with that. The Jesus in me says, hey, come on, let's get you some food. Let's get you a shower. Let's get you a place to
come with me. I can make you better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't make you better, but I know people who can.
Great point.
Right.
Yep.
And you know what? Yes, there's a lot of options, and people talk about it, and you need to be clean and or sober, but that's almost unrealistic too in that transition phase.
There's
if
a
you
blend.
Got a drug addict. You hey, I was a smoker for a few years. That's a major.
Yeah, look, I learned
addiction.
something new again today.
A major. Oh, it's been forever. Major addiction, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nicotine is a major addiction. That wasn't like an overnight success story. I must have quit 1,000 times before I quit. The 1,001st time was when I was like, okay, this is it.
But you need a support system around you to do almost any of that.
Whether it's
your family, whether it's your, and so you mentioned the different possibilities out there. You know, people go, oh, you have to have a low barrier. No, you need low barrier. You need high barrier. You need whatever works.
Yeah.
Let's not argue with systems that work.
Yep.
That doesn't mean they're for everybody. But let's meet somebody where they're at.
Yeah.
How can we improve them? But to say we're just going to ignore it, we're just going to allow, because anybody that comes and visits our region, when they see those things on the street, you know what they think we think of our region?
Yeah. We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care about our people. We don't
just care about ourselves. That's it.
Well, you know what, Ted, to some level of what's again the word? That's a fact.
Yeah.
We drive by them. You know what? For full disclosure, and this is going to show. Not that I don't care.
No, I know. No, we got it.
But I don't go south the river.
Yeah.
Unless absolutely necessary.
And that just at my core, when I hear people say, now I work right at River and Campbell, but they say, I'll never go. There's so much in this region that's south of river.
Oh, come
on.
The
university.
Come on.
The downtown. Some of the best restaurants. I mean, I was listening really last week on Friday to Chris on their show when they were debating the top 10 restaurants, and they're all over the place.
And there were some of them on there I really agreed with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
like Charo and the Highlands. I'm a regular at the.
That's when we've got. I went out with Chris. That's where he paid off his RTA bet.
We'll go.
Thanks, Chris.
We'll go soon on that. You know, hey, I was down at the with Bob Elliott and Beverly at the African American Museum.
Incredible place.
Amazing. We went over and then with Tony Dungy and did the thing over there. That was so much fun. We had. So I will go. for specific reasons, but you just casually.
You're pretty close right here. This is pretty far south for you, Clint. You got to be careful.
I'm on the border.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I used to travel all the time. It's overrated. We go see our granddaughter pretty regular. And man, what fun!
That was a good time. I can't believe it. Hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
wow.
75 minutes or there. We're going to go out here and decide. We'll get another date. We'll
Sounds
bring
good.
you back because we need to have you back regularly.
I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Without you guys following us, listening to us, watching us, we're just sitting here talking to ourselves. And as I always say, you know what? Be nice to each other. It's just not that hard if you try. And Tony, thank you again for an amazing show. You're like a great umpire. We don't know you're here when you're doing your job right. Talk to you later.